Hello and welcome to this advanced use case in which we are going to talk about multiple subcontractors and dropship in V15. But just before we start, a bit of context. Last year I recorded this video explaining this process in V14, and then we realized that some validations were added in the database. We started having some problems and we created this forum entry to explain how to overcome some issues. We also had some improvements in V14, such as the subcontractor lead time being taken into consideration to manage the just-in-time method of replenishment. And of course, we are now in V15, we have new features, and we decided also to redo everything again, but thinking in a more simplified way. So it's time to record a new video, and today we will see exactly the same business flow as we had in V14, just to be easier to compare what we did before and what we are doing now. I will explain the configuration. I'm adding here the lead times because we created a forum entry just to explain how to manage the lead times, and we think it would be interesting to also mention the lead times here. And of course, we need to see in the database how the process works. So first, I will re-explain quickly the business flow that we proposed first. We are a company selling an electric bike as finished product, and we can, of course, subcontract these two different electric bikes. We have one with solar panel, one with lithium battery, and we don't have warehouse, we don't have a production line, so we subcontract everything and we drop ship directly to our clients. Every time we need to produce a bike with solar panel, we subcontract from this company here called Solar Inc. And every time we produce or we sell an electric bike with lithium battery, we subcontract from Battery Corp, and we call these two companies as our subcontractors level 1. We can decide from which subcontractor we will get the semi-finished product, which is in our case the bike itself. So every time we subcontract, for example, from Solar Inc., we need to receive the bike from Superbikes or Universal Bikes. So we need to choose here who will be our subcontractor level 2. And I need to resupply my subcontractors level 2 with components. So in this case, my suppliers will deliver, for example, the frame and the wheels either to Superbikes when I choose this one or to Universal Bikes. And this is the last step of our supply chain. Sometimes I can repeat pretty much the same flow, but instead of producing electric bikes with solar panel, I produce bikes with lithium battery. So I just have a different BOM linked to a different subcontractor. But again, I need to take this decision manually to choose between Superbikes and Universal Bikes. So basically, this is the same flow as we had in V14, but now the configuration will slightly change. We keep the same idea of activating subcontracting from the manufacturing app settings. We need to create a multi-level bill of material. And here I will keep a very basic one as we have in V14, just a semi-finished product. And I have one subcontractor here. We have a finished product, sorry, with a subcontractor, a semi-finished product with another subcontractor, and only two components. The note here says that we don't need to have all components as we have in the engineering bill of materials. So imagine that in order to produce this electric bike, I have cables, bolts, and so on. I don't need to add these components here because the bill of materials type subcontracting is more thought in terms of logistics. So I just need to say which components I need to provide to my subcontractor. And then in the inventory app, we need to activate multi-step routes and also storage locations. And what is very important here is to link each storage location to the subcontractor. I will show you better in the database because we have 4 subcontractors in our example, 2 subcontractors level 2, 2 subcontractors level 1. And if we check here in the database, I created one storage location for each subcontractor, and these locations are below the standard one subcontracting location. So this is our hierarchy. And every time we are in debug mode and we go to the contact application, we can see here I created the companies here, the subcontractors. And every time we are in debug mode, we can see here in the purchase sales purchase tab the 3 fields, and I must link the respective location. So Battery Corp has a link to the Battery Corp location, Solar Inc, and so on. So this is very important. And I have operation types. So this is something new in comparison of V14. I will explain one by one. So every time we purchase components from suppliers and we need to deliver these components to my subcontractor level 2, I have one operation type for each subcontractor. So in this case, I have one for Superbikes in this example, and I have one for Universal Bikes. So I will open here quickly the operation type to explain what is the purpose of this. So every time we receive something at Superbike, we use this operation type, but then the default source location is vendor, okay, because this is coming from our supplier, but the destination location is customers. It's a bit strange, but this is a good workaround, and I will come back to this point later in this video, but keep this configuration as it is for the moment. And then we have the second operation type here when my subcontractor produces the semi-finished product, which is the standard one, subcontracting. The only thing is that by default, this operation type is archived. So you just need to open the operation types, filter by the archived ones, and then you will be able to find this operation type here. Just unarchive it and keep as it is. You don't need to change anything, even though it says default source location, the subcontracting one. We will not use this location, but keep it as it is. And we have the third operation type, which is receipt in Solar Inc. So we have, again, one operation type for each subcontractor level 1. In this case, if we see the configuration here, receipt Solar Inc., I don't have a source location. It's not needed. And again, I have customer. It seems strange, but keep it here as it is. And I will explain soon the reason why. What is important is be careful with the sequences. So each operation type should have a unique sequence, so you can define the code accordingly, and that's it. Then we check here the step number 4, which is Solar Inc. Producing my finished good. So again, I will process this operation using the subcontracting operation type, as I explained previously. And when my product is drop shipped from subcontractor to customers, I will use the standard operation type dropship. So here we can see dropship. And the only thing I did here is that I removed the default source location. I only kept the customer location. So far, so good. I have here a small comparison between V14 and 15. Before I had 2 operation types dropship, one for each subcontractor. Now I'm using only one. We can keep this configuration, but I think it's easier, or it's at least more clear to see one operation type. So I kept only dropship, the standard one. I'm trying to stick as much as possible to the standard configuration of V15 because there were improvements about routes and operation types. Previously, I had in V14 2 operation types for subcontractors level 2, and now I'm again summarizing it and grouping in only one operation type, the standard one. I don't need to create anything here. I'm just using the standard. I have 2 operation types for receipts at subcontractors level 2, and in this case I kept the same structure, 2 and 2. And for delivery orders between subcontractors, I, instead of using delivery order, I replaced by receipts. Okay, so from 8 operation types, now I have 6. It's very easy to manage in V15. Still in inventory, we don't need to configure the reordering rules. Okay, I kept here the replenish because these will be used during the flow, but it's not necessary. In V14 I was creating a lot of reordering rules. In V15 it's way easier, and I can keep the standard route MTO archived. But now checking the configuration, the only thing is that I added some rules within each route. So starting from the first step, which is a dropship subcontractor on order, I will check here the routes, and I have a lot of rules, but this is not complex as it seems to be. So every time I'm subcontracting something here, I will have a need of components with my subcontractor, in this case Superbike, and how Odoo recognizes that there is a need with Superbike, because I need to have this rule here uh, from production to my subcontractor. The only thing I did, you see that I have a lot of rules, but the only thing I did, I duplicated the standard one and I changed here some things. The action must be pulled from, because as I said, I'm transferring between brackets the need from the virtual location production to the location Superbike. So as we can see, the operation type is subcontracting, and this is what is happening. I'm transferring the need from production to my subcontracting location Superbike, and I will trigger another rule. Which rule I'm triggering? This one, because as now I have the need with Superbikes, I trigger this rule, or Odoo will trigger this rule, and this is action by, so an RFQ will be created, and the operation type is this one, received at Superbikes, because my need is now here at Superbike. This is important to follow. And again, I repeat the same process for my other subcontractor level 2, which is Superbikes. I just need to duplicate the standard rule and say that, okay, every time I subcontract something, in this case, the production of my semi-finished product with Superbikes or Universal Bikes, I will transfer the need from production to Universal Bikes, and I will trigger another rule, and this rule is this one, received at Superbike location. So why do I have here 4 rules to transfer needs from production to subcontracting locations, and here I have only 2? Because as we can see here in this diagram, every time I subcontract something here, I just need to buy and send the products directly to this subcontractor. So there is no decision to be taken. On the other hand, every time I will go back to this slide, every time I have a need here with Solar Inc., I want to take the decision manually to decide between Superbikes or Universal Bikes. So this is why here I don't have this buy rule for Solar Inc. and Battery Corp. So you see that I just transferred the need from production to subcontracting, but I will not trigger the purchase order automatically, because I want to trigger it, or I want to create it manually. It's my decision. So this was the first route, dropship subcontractor on order. Then again, I explained the second step here, which is the transfer from production to subcontractor location. I have the third rule, which is buy. And if we check the configuration of the buy route, the only thing I did was to duplicate the standard rule, and I created here one rule to receive at Solar Inc. And you see here the location is also Solar Inc. And the second rule is with Battery Corp, location Battery Corp, operation type received at Battery Corp, because this is my subcontractor level 1. The last route is Dropship. Again, I kept the standard route, and I didn't change anything here. Okay, so now we will explain the difference between V14 and 15. So I had previously 2 routes to subcontract with my subcontractors level 2. Now I have only one. All the rules are inside this route. It's better to maintain all of this. And I had previously 2 routes for dropship. Now I have only one with all rules inside, way better to manage. And then I had a route by components that was a new one, and I'm now using the standard by route. So everything I have here in V15 in terms of routes is standard. The difference is that I added some rules inside. The configuration, the components are linked to dropship subcontractor on order, semi-finished product linked to buy, and my finished products will use both the dropship route. So very simple. And in terms of purchases, I only need to activate the dropship configuration from the configuration. Now talking about lead times, in this example, just adding the same explanation we have here in this forum entry, we have a lead time of 10 days. So if today I close a deal with my client selling my my electric bike with solar panel, I need at least 10 days. I cannot promise something before 10 days. So my customer lead time of my electric bike will be 10 days. Why 10 days? Because I need to consider here all the lead times of my subcontractors and suppliers. So in this case, let's imagine that the time that my subcontractor Solar Inc. needs to produce and deliver is 5 days. And then my subcontractor Superbike needs 4 days to produce and deliver to Solar Inc. And my suppliers need at least 1 day to deliver the components to Superbike. So 1 plus 4 plus 5, I define my customer lead time as 10 days. Here, I will not use security lead time just to don't complicate. But then going to the configuration, we see that here my finished product electric bike has customer lead time of 10 days, as I explained it here, and manufacturing lead time of 5 days, because this is the manufacturing lead time of my subcontractor. My semi-finished product has only manufacturing lead time of 4 days. I don't have customer lead time because this product cannot be sold. So only 4 days I need to set up here. And my configuration in terms of purchase lead time, because I have also the purchase tab for all products. This is important because I must consider the customer lead time. I will repeat the same logic. So I will consider the subcontractor lead time level 1 plus the previous subcontractor and the time spent by my supplier. So total of 10 days. So this means that if I want to trigger all my supply chain process on time, I will consider the same customer lead time, because if I close the deal today and I say to my client, I will deliver in 10 days, I will also trigger all my purchase orders still today, because my subcontractors and my supplier, they will take 10 days to deliver everything. So this should be the same, 10 days to trigger my purchase orders and 10 days to deliver to my client. As we can see here, I will configure the purchase lead time a bit different when it comes to my subcontractor level 2, because I don't need to take into consideration the subcontractor level 1. I just need to look behind me and see, okay, before I produce my semi-finished product, I need to receive my components. So I need 4 days plus 1 day of my supplier, total of 5 days. This means that 5 days before I need to send components to subcontractor level 1. So this is why I need to raise, as the replenishment works with just in time, I need to raise my purchase order 5 days in advance. And here for my suppliers, I will set only 1 day. It's easy in this case, just 1 day that should be considered. So now let's see how it will work in the database. The process will be this one. The client will raise a purchase order to our company buying an electric bike with solar panel. I need to immediately raise a purchase order to my subcontractor Solar Inc. And I will choose between Superbikes and Universal Bikes to see who will provide the semi-finished product to Solar Inc. And automatically I will have 2 purchase orders to my suppliers in order to give components to my subcontractor level 2. So here in the database, the first thing I need to do is to create a sales order to my customer. And here I'm selling the electric bike with solar panel. As I defined my lead time, my customer lead time as 10 days, Odoo is suggesting from today plus 10 days. So as we are 27th of January, my delivery date is proposed as February 6th. Here I will confirm, and then Odoo creates automatically my purchase order. So if we check what we have here, we have a purchase order to Solar Inc., asking them to produce my electric bike with solar panel, and I must confirm this purchase order today. This is very important to understand, because if I confirm still today, Solar Inc. will be good to produce my product and deliver to my client on time, which is the same delivery date I defined in my purchase order. So this is something very important. And also the dropship address here, because when I print this document, I will be able to see that Solar Inc. needs to deliver my product to this customer in this address, and this is the expected date. So very important to have this information here. And as soon as I confirm my purchase order, I can check here in my inventory app that I have my dropship document. So this is scheduled to be done in 10 days, as I explained. And we already have a subcontracting order. So if we check this, of course, I don't need to do anything now because I still don't have my semi-finished product, neither my components. But I see that this is scheduled to start in 5 days. So according to the lead time, the manufacturing lead time I defined in my product. So this is very important. But now I need to take a decision. I need to check here from which subcontractor level 2 I will subcontract my semi-finished product bike without battery, because I see that I have a need of my semi-finished product with Solar Inc. So this is why my forecast is -1. I'm exactly here now. I need to decide who will subcontract or who will produce my semi-finished product. In this case, I will select Superbikes to follow our example. When I hit here order once, I check again my purchase, and I have a purchase order to Superbikes. And again, very important, Odoo is suggesting, as I have my lead time, total lead time of 10 days, I must confirm this purchase order today, because as my subcontractor, let me show you again, Solar Inc. will start the manufacturing process February 1st. I must confirm today. So Superbikes will have enough time to do the subcontracting order and deliver to Solar Inc. exactly at the same day Solar Inc. will start the production of my finished product. So this is very important. And the only thing I mentioned previously about the operation type, having the customer location here, is in order to have this field being displayed. For the moment, as a workaround, this should be filled manually. So I need to say that this will be delivered to Solar Inc. or do you not fill it automatically. Maybe this can be done using an automated action. I don't know, but I will not cover this topic in this video. But for the moment, just say who will receive the semi-finished product. And as soon as we confirm this, of course, we have the same report. We can see here that Superbike need to deliver to Solar Inc. in this address, and they need to deliver until February 1st. This is very important. And as soon as we confirm this, we can check again our inventory overview. We have a second subcontracting order. We can see that both are not available. And the semi-finished product is scheduled to be done tomorrow because the lead time is 4 days. So we are going backwards from 10 days, which is the date I agreed with my client. So my finished product should start 5 days before, and my semi-finished product 9 days before. So 5 plus 4, it means tomorrow. Of course, I don't have the components to start this manufacturing order or this subcontracting order. If I check here, Odoo created automatically 2 purchase orders to my 2 suppliers, because this was defined in my root dropship subcontractor on order to trigger automatically these 2 purchase orders. And if I check here, both are here to be confirmed today because they need 1 day to deliver. So they need to deliver tomorrow to Solar Inc. Again, the same, I need to say manually that this will be delivered to, in this case, Superbike, sorry. I confirm. I have here the second one. I just say that this will be delivered to Superbikes. That's it. Confirm. And I can print also the purchase order to framework saying, okay, I'm confirming this today, and you need to deliver to Superbikes in this address until tomorrow. As soon as I have the 4 purchase orders confirmed, I arrived here and I need to start coming back because the suppliers will deliver the components to my subcontractor level 2 Superbikes. And I can see this from my inventory overview. I have this operation type to process. And in V15, you have a nice feature because I can process both faster than before. I just need to select everything. You see that I have 2 different deliveries, and I will select both and apply. If I check my stock now, I can see that I have one component here, or both components, I'm sorry, with Superbikes, which is good. So we are here now. What we need to do is to process the first subcontracting order. So if we check what we have here, in this case, it's easy. I have only 2. So if I had a lot of subcontracting orders, I encourage you to group by material availability so we can see what needs to be done first. So the one which is ready is the one I will do now. It's scheduled for tomorrow, but of course I will not wait until tomorrow. I will process it right now. I just need to say here that my semi-finished product is done and I consumed all my components. So if I check my stock now, the components were consumed and I have only one semi-finished product with Superbikes. So we are here. Now I need to dropship semi-finished product to Solar Inc. Now I will go back to my inventory overview and I will receive here at Solar Inc. coming from Superbikes one semi-finished product. So okay. If I check my inventory report now, I can see that I have one semi-finished product with Solar Inc., which is the last step here in my flow. They will produce my bike with a solar panel. So again, I can come back to the inventory overview and see here from the subcontracting that now this subcontracting order is available. I will just say here that my finished product is done. I can check my inventory report and finished product with Solar Inc. Finally, I will dropship directly to my client. So the last document I need to process here is the dropship. I can group, for example, by contact. If I have, for example, purchase order dropships from Solar Inc. and sometimes dropships from Battery Corp. So this would be a nice way to see who will dropship what. And then I just process this document and my process is done. The only thing I will do here quickly is to explain the situation in which I will choose the second subcontractor. So I will duplicate this, not delete, duplicate, and I will confirm same. Let me just save this first. And expected delivery date 6th of February. So let's do it manually, no problem. 1 unit, okay. Confirm. I have my purchase order to Solar Inc., which is the only company producing my bike with solar panel. I will confirm. And again, when I go here to my replenishment, I see that I have a need in Solar Inc. and I can now decide, okay, instead of super bikes, we'll choose universal bikes. Hit here, order once, and when I check what I have is a purchase order to universal bike. So this is the way I can manage this situation in which I choose universal bikes instead of super bikes, and the process will be the same. I will receive my components here, delivered to Solar Inc., and Solar Inc. will deliver to the client. I hope this advanced use case is helpful. Of course, this can be configured in different ways. We can also add components being delivered to subcontractors level 1, but what we need to do is to keep in mind that this is the routes and operation types we must have, and everything that needs to be done a part of that should be configured here in the rules, especially about dropship subcontractor, in order to respect this structure. So everything that needs to be triggered automatically must have a by route. Everything that needs to be decided will have only this pull from rule to transfer the need from production to the subcontractor location. So thank you for watching, and if you have any questions, don't hesitate in contacting me.